So we need to get back to the Stone Age in this open world.
You feel that that's what this story is telling you? Go back?
Yeah.
I don't think it's as prescriptive as that. I think we need to find a new relationship with the natural world. No question. I don't think they found it. But the film is a bit of a cautionary tale or a memento mori or something for a very thin veneer of civilization that we have that hangs on this very thin thread of our dependence on oil and on electricity. Like when that goes, we would be these phones would be dead in an instant, and we would no gas. What? And I think we all have that fear in our minds. But we haven't lived practically the alternative. So this film is kind of it doesn't say, well, I guess ultimately I do want to think, listen, humans have survived for a long, long time without this. We've had electricity for 140 years, approximately. We'd be okay. We might die more quickly, but we'd be okay. We'd live. We'd survive. We might be even happy.
And we have to restart also from women, maybe. Because,
we have to what?
Restart from women also.
Restart from women. What do you mean?
From a new relationship with the planet.
Because I always resist this film being a kind of statement about women, because if it was two brothers and I was a man, you wouldn't say, this is about how men deal with nature. It's only because I'm a minority, and films that have female protagonists as a minority, that we want to make the generalization that it is specifically about the female psyche. You know what I mean? It's like it's the old joke. If a woman does something stupid, they say, what a stupid woman. If a man does something... if a man does something stupid, they say, what a stupid man. If a woman does something stupid, they say, aren't women stupid? Like there's a desire to generalize based on our minority status. That said, yes, it's about women. It's about a kind of generosity, I think, that they keep this child. Don't give it away in your story, okay? Because poor audiences, they never have any surprises anymore. But they keep this child and they keep it with love. And that's a kind of generosity that is shocking to me, and I loved it. I loved how evolved you would have to be as a human being to be able to say, you didn't make this, you didn't cause this to happen, you didn't ask to be born, I will love you just the way you are. Unbelievable to me.
But it's true that in the novel the child was a girl.
No.
In the novel?
No.
Was it a girl?
It was a boy. Yeah, it was a boy. In the novel, I shot this, but it felt a little bit too preachy. The boy's name was Burl. Burl, B-U-R-L. And he was named after a thing that grows on the side of a tree, and it's a kind of a mass of DNA of a tree. So if a tree is damaged, then a new sprout can come from this burrow. So through damage, new growth can happen, and yet it is still the same DNA. So I think that's the basic idea of this whole story. Right? Through the damage, they burn this house, don't give that away either, but through damage, through destruction, something new can be born. So it's ultimately a kind of hopeful idea.
And also the fact that at the end the girl burned the house. It's a kind of very strong moment because it's like looking back over the past and then start again, and start a new life without caring much.
It's
So strong.
It's a big decision. It's a big decision, and many people couldn't do it. It's you know, Alan Page spoke about it. She said it's about detachment. It's about letting go. It's about letting go parental authority, about the comforts of home, about actually needing to destroy it in order to force yourself forward. I sometimes think of it as almost a Buddhist state of mind, of pure detachment. You know? It's radical. It's radical. It's very radical.
Do you make any important changes between the novel and the film?
Well, the novel had all the expected. It was. I only dramatized the last half of the novel. The first half had a lot of the reasons why the mother died. She just nothing exceptional. She was just illness, and the reasons why civilization fell apart. And they're everything you would expect. It was depletion of energy sources. It was the schools went crazy. It was constant war. It was nuclear this. It was just all a combination of all the things that we worry about. And to me, it just felt. Not that surprising, you know, not that relevant. And I was inspired in a way by Michael Hanke, The Hour of the Wolf, where it never explains it. And I was terrified by this idea that we wouldn't know. We wouldn't know why the power stopped, right? If the radio just stopped broadcasting, we just wouldn't know. And is it too loud?
A bit.
Should I get a directorial here? Okay. Okay. That works every time. Okay. I'll try to. I'm already yelling. The most of the fictional representations of a demise of civilization explain why. And I am in a culture that is desperately hungry for information, which all of you understand because you're journalists, and I understand because I'm a journalist, was a journalist. That without any information, it would be completely terrifying for me. And rumor. I was actually in New York City when the LA riots happened, and the rumors that went crazy. I was there, and I was on the phone. I had a meeting with Miramax, and they said, "Don't go by Penn Station. There's a riot there." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I changed my whole plan, and I talked to someone else. They said, "Don't go to Penn Station. There's a riot going on there." And there were like multiple reports. There was no riot in Penn Station. There was nothing. It just is rumors. Just billow forward like a. In the absence of information, we're
You're going to base your choice on rumors.
Of course, that's all you have. You have no information. The tiny little bit of information you have, you will give prominence to it. So, anyway, that to me was more terrifying and more realistic, and the whole thing was more terrifying to me because I have no zombies. I have no, asteroids or meteorites, and I just have radio silence, I have no information, and I found that very terrifying.
The idea of the dance of choreography, which is so beautiful and visually, it's so important in the film. Was it?
Can you mention this choreographer, Crystal Pite? She was
Crystal.
Yeah, Crystal with a Y. Crystal, Pite. Okay. She was at the Bill Forsyth. Yes, perfect. Bill Forsyth. She was kind of his protege, and she ran the Nederlands Dance Theater, and she was in Belgium for a while, of course, a big center of dance, and she happens to be Canadian, and she had just moved back to Vancouver, so I had this extraordinary choreographer to work with. I was very, very thrilled, and she, interpreted this character through dance. So a kind of, it became more mechanical and visceral and angry, and then it could flow again once she had music and once they had art again.
But it is very cinematic, so I was wondering, it was already in the novel, or it's your idea?
Well, it was classical dance. It was ballet.
I totally agree.
Okay, we've seen that. No, I wanted to. It's set slightly in the future. I just wanted to have something that pleased me.
How
It's
did
just
you?
pure.
Sorry. How did you choose those two actresses and the father?
Well, Ellen chose me, right? Ellen had the novel.
She's the producer also.
She had the she optioned the novel, and we were working together on this huge $50 million thing that didn't happen, and of course, then so she said, "Hey, you want to read this novel? What do you think?" And I read it, and I thought.
You worked together on.
We were developing a film that didn't happen. That I had
50
written.
or 15? Sorry.
50.
Can I ask you what?
Oh, it was the only thing that can support that is like either cartoon revenge fantasies, right? Revenge fantasies are huge, or children's, and it was a children's one. It's called The Paper Bag Princess. It still may happen. It's a kind of a princess as superhero. But very funny and breaking the fourth wall constantly. The voiceover was a little guy from the voiceover union who hated his job as a voiceover, and he was very wrong. He always interpreted characters in their feelings inappropriately and intruded on the story. Anyway, so it's a fun thing, but. So we were working together on that. It didn't happen. It may happen, but and then she gave me her novel and that novel, and I read it, and I thought the first word actually that came to my mind was humility. That I felt like the shooting of it had to be humble. It could not be a slick, elegant, lots of egotistical angles and smooth, impressive camera work. It had to be rough and present and a bit wild, So, so then we talked and discussed Evan, Rachel Wood, as somebody who would have the kind of physical competence and a fierce and a good actor. So she called her up, and then I encouraged them to just hang out like sisters, and they got to be very good friends and just got to the point where they could hang out and not talk. But she's a fierce thing. They're both they both started very young, and they're very good.
True.
They're good technicians, but they're really emotionally available, So they knew everything about hitting their marks and making something feel fluid. But then, when Evan does that scene that you can't write this either, but the rape scene, she broke all the blood vessels in her eyelids. I can show you a picture. She screamed so much that we did one take. I did one take and that one angle because I couldn't make her do it again.
Which take? Sorry, I didn't.
The rape.
The
that
rape.
close up on her face while it's happening. She did one take of that, and it was it felt like a high wire act for me as a director because I didn't shoot it from here and here and here and here and make it in the editing. I was like, this is the shot. I'm making this decision. That was a moral, and that was a very female inspired decision. It's like, okay, the world is awash with images of female humiliation and subjugation and assault. How do I not add to that image bank? How can I portray this moment responsibly and sensitively? And I just saw focus on her pain. That's all. Don't give anyone an opportunity to enjoy this. Don't show the pleasures of any of the guy. Stay on her. So that was a very, I guess, female choice, you know?
The choice can be noticed. It's so different, so feminine subject.
Yeah.
So either the same about the love scene between Nell and it's so delicate. There's nothing, no complacence.
Oh, really? Really? Do you think there's something very that you could tell there's a woman sensibility behind it?
A man would shoot that scene in different ways.
Ah. I don't even know. I don't even know how it was like.
It's beautiful because sorry.
Yeah.
It's not beautiful. We want to listen to you.
I want to listen to you though.
No, it's beautiful because there is a sort of choreography. The rapist before getting action is, you know that he's lying because it's like a choreography.
His body,
it's very beautiful. Very good.
Thank you. Well, it's a scene like that is exciting to shoot because it has so much inherent tension, right? It's so in a way easy to keep that. I'd like to keep talking to these people. It's easy to maintain the tension because the conflict is so high, right? And the danger. And yeah, this idea of circling, and when you have something like that, you can stretch it out for days and it works, right? Most movies are just basically that, stretched out.
Imagine William Friedkin shooting this scene.
Yeah.
You have the masculine point of view.
And what would it be?
I don't know, but try to imagine.
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm
Imagine a
kind of
William Friedkin
instinctive
film,
in a way.
this scene, it's different.
Yeah. I'm instinctive in some ways. I just there's some intellect, I guess, but not. I try not to let it dominate. I just give myself pleasure, give myself fear, give my characters a lot of problems, and I always have a plan, and I always design the images. Beforehand with my cinematographer. It was a new guy. He didn't even have an agent. He'd never shot a feature before. I just saw his images and I thought, it's so emotional. His work was so emotional. So I picked this new guy to shoot it, and I'm working with him on the next one. I have a new movie starting in March. Ellen again. We got along great, and another major movie star that you all know, but I can't tell you yet. Two actually. Two. It's set in Paris in the 1920s, and it's a Shakespeare and Company story. Do you know the bookstore in Paris? Yeah, it's kind of Sylvia Beach and James Joyce, and so it's a period piece. We have to go. Yeah.
But they can come and
they can follow us. I don't know. I think they have tried.
Follow us. If they have also other questions for you.
What are we doing then?
Over there.
Just 5 minutes. Ah, la libreria.
Libreria.
The library.
Yes, yeah, the